Hello, everyone. This is Dom Morena, and the NYR Zone podcast starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome inside this week's edition of the NYR Zone podcast. Once again, I'm Dom Morena, and a great week that it was for the Rangers. Very busy week, starting off on Super Bowl Sunday. They went 3-0-0 this week. They currently sit in the wild card spot with a record of 35-18-1 at 71 points. And like I said, this week they're getting a little bit of a better mojo at home. And it all started with the victory over the Flames 4-3 on Super Bowl Sunday. Lundqvist and Elliott were trying out the new pants for their new pants for the NHL, like the goal that they made their goalies wear. So that was something storyline to look at. Look at there. Didn't really pay too much of an effect, I think. Calgary got the board first on the power play. Lundqvist tried clearing the puck, was unable to. Dougie Hamilton got it, a shot from the point, gave the Flames a 1-0 lead. But then the Rangers answered on the power play, which has been struggling over the last few weeks. Rick Nash got to the rebound after Derek Stepan's shot was stopped by Elliott. Nash's first goal in 7 games. Ryan McDonough recorded his 200th career point, picking up an assist on the goal. Then the second period came, and it was a completely different team. The Rangers really were unable to generate much. They generated 15 shots on net in the first period alone. But then the second period came where they generated 6 shots total. So not much was going on in the second period. They thought the Rangers had scored, but they did not. Rick Nash deflection was a 1/10 of a second too late. Clock showed zeros. It was reviewed, reversed, 1-1 going into the third. The third period came out with Rangers came out with a different team. Michael Grabner put the Rangers ahead. Michael Grabner is on some stretch. He's been a revelation for this team. After the game last night, he has 26 goals. He's tied with Alexander Ovechkin, Cam Atkinson, Vladimir Tarasenko, and Michael Grabner. Those are the 4 players in the league that have 26 goals. He's a goal away from Max Pacioretty for third in the league, 3 goals away from Jeff Carter for second in the league, and 4 goals behind Crosby for 30. But that's a different story for later on in this episode. Getting back to this game, Rangers up 2-1. Great passing sequence from JT Miller and Brady Shea, who found Grabner. The Flames would answer back, though, on a Troy Brouwer goal. Then Chris Kreider said, you know what, it's time for me to step up here. After the game-winning goal in Buffalo, he put the Rangers ahead once again on a beautiful shot. Kreider used the Calgary defenseman as a screen and was able to get the puck behind Elliott, putting the Rangers up 3-2. And then later on in the period, Jesper Fast had scored on a nice setup. Calgary would answer, making it 4-3, leaving Jesper Fast's goal as the game-winning goal. A final of 4-3 win at MSG. So that's something good. There's some good news for the Rangers there that they're starting to win at MSG. They had a 4-game homestand at the Garden, so it was very important that they started winning after they struggled. After the game last night, they are 17-11-1 at home. So they're getting better. But if you look at their road record, they're 18-7-0, and their last 10 7-3-0 overall. So now we move ahead to the 7th of February. This past Tuesday, the Rangers were facing the Anaheim Ducks for the first time this season. Kevin Hayes returned to the Rangers lineup after missing a few games due to a lower body injury suffered before the All-Star break against Detroit. Lundqvist made 43 saves in this game, 32 through the first 2 periods. Rangers won it 4-1. Oscar Lindberg got the Rangers on the board off a beautiful pass backhand pass from Pavel Buchnevich. Then later on in the period, Zuccarello scored off of a beautiful pass sequence from Chris Kreider and Brady Shea. And I'm sure most of you remember this sequence if you were on Twitter, because there was a video circulating the Twitter world of the Nashville Predators intermission report, and it was not good. they really butchered the names. So the names are like Brady Chase to Chris Cater to Matt Zarella. Those are the names that the broadcast used, and those obviously are not right. So there was very funny to watch there. That's the goal they were referring to. Jakob Silverberg would bring the Ducks to within 1 later on in the period, making it 2-1. Then the Rangers added 2 more. Michael Grabner scored twice in this one. Empty net goal as well. Grabner's first goal, making it 3-1, was off of a beautiful pass from JT Miller. This kid is something special, guys. I'm going to address this later on in the podcast, but JT Miller cannot be traded. Him and Kevin Hayes are on some crazy stretch right now. Grabner had an empty net goal as well, making it 4-1, securing the win for the Rangers off of another great pass from JT Miller. Miller is, with his passing right now, is on a different level than some of the players in the league. It's crazy just watching his passing right now. He's on a crazy stretch in his last 17 games. Crazy stretch. It's unbelievable. It really is. And just watching him play has been great. I mean, the way he's overcome things. Currently, he's 47th in the league in assists. He's got 26 of them. So it's not exactly what you think. Brady Shea is a little right behind him. Actually, right behind him and tied with him is Kevin Hayes. They have 26 as well. But Kevin Hayes is on a roll after coming back from injury, too. He picked up a couple assists in that game as well. So now the Rangers have won 3 straight, 2 straight at MSG. So it's something to look at there. Can they make it 4 straight at the Garden? Dan Girardi was out of the lineup due to an injury. So we had Adam Clendening come in. So that was going to be interesting to see how he played. Only because he's been on and up and down, better way to say it, up and down this year. He's had his moments, but nothing really we can do about that. So Girardi was out. Not much can be done about that. But you kind of missed Girardi on the first goal of the game. Cody McLeod in front. Adam Clendening failed to box him out in front. And it feels like a basketball term. And the way I wrote my article after the game, because there's been a lot of drama at the Garden this week. The Knicks were kind of in some trouble, so I kind of based the article off of the Knick drama for the fun of it. So he was unable to box out Cody McLeod, who got the rebound, put it past Lundqvist. Defensive lapse, just like the Knicks have seen all season. Lundqvist played fine the rest of the period. Then the Michael Grabner show continued. Rangers are down 2-0 after a Calle Yarncroc power play goal. The line of Grabner, Miller, Hayes, and the hey, grab me a Miller line. I'm trying to find a way to get that into this end of this episode. Did right there. Put the Rangers on the board. Great pass from Kevin Hayes to Grabner to put the Rangers up. Not up, down to within 1, making it 2-1. Later on in the period, Hayes and Miller found themselves on a 2-on-1, and then Hayes had some great patience to find JT Miller, and Miller had great patience, too, to not rushing that shot, because he waited a while for Hayes to find him. So, Rangers tied it at 2 on that goal. The hey, grab me a Miller line was really the line that was generating most of the offense for the Rangers. But then Chris Kreider said, I'm still here, and I'm going to score my career-high 22nd goal of the season off of a beautiful deflection on a Matt Zuccarello shot. His 22nd, like I said, 22nd goal of the season, making that a career high. Miller would add another one on a deflection, giving him a career-high 44 points. The Rangers would allow one more goal, making it 4-3. They won that game by that score. 4th game in a row, 3rd straight game at home. So that's this week's game recap, seeing how things are going there. So now I want to address a couple of issues that I've noticed with the Rangers. Some of the fans on Twitter not really excited about certain things. They like the stretch that they're on. They don't really aren't happy with the way some of the lines are constructed. So right now, the way the lines are constructed, you have VZ, Nash, and Stepan as your first line. Your second line is Zuccarello, Zibanejad, Kreider. Your third line, Kevin Hayes, Michael Grabner, JT Miller. And your fourth line, Pavel Buchnevich, Oscar Lindberg, and Jesper Fast. Now, the big outcry on social media everywhere, Facebook, Twitter, to Facebook groups and everything, is that Pavel Buchnevich is playing on the fourth line. Well, coming into the season, everyone felt, okay, Michael Grabner is going to be a great fourth line player for this team. But that line of Grabner, Miller, and Hayes has been so good, you can't break them up. Unless some kind of injury happens where you need to move Hayes up to the second line or something like that, you can't break up that line. That line is clicking right now. So that's why you don't move him there. The VZ line, the VZ Nash and Stepan, that line has played well the entire season they've played together. Remember, the season started with VZ playing with Zuccarello and Stepan. That didn't last too long. Then they moved VZ with Stepan and Nash, and that line clicked. They played well for a while. Then Nash got hurt, so some things had to change. Then Kreider got hurt, things had to change. And now that the team is healthy, AV put that line back together the other day, and it worked in the game against Columbus. VZ scored a goal. Nash played well the other day against Buffalo last Thursday. And then Nash also played well against Calgary, scoring a goal. So that's why you don't break up that line. And Chris Kreider and Matt Zuccarello have been playing together all season. They played well together all season. You don't break those two up. And Mika Zibanejad is not playing fourth line minutes. He's too valuable for that. So that means you have Pavel Buchnevich, Oscar Lindberg, and Jesper Fast. Fast can play anywhere in this team's lineup. He can play in your first line, second line, third line, fourth line. A lot of fans get mad at AV when he puts him in the top six. But he can pretty much play anywhere in this Ranger lineup. He's that valuable to this team. I see people throwing him in trades for Shattenkirk online, but you're not going to realize how much they're going to miss Jesper Fast. When he was gone, when he was injured a couple weeks ago, the Ranger penalty kill really suffered. So you're not moving him. Playing with him with Buchnevich is actually a pretty good thing I think, because Fast is very relentless on the forecheck, and he breaks up plays in the offensive zone, and Buchnevich can get to it. Lindberg scored over 10 goals last season. And don't forget, Buchnevich is a rookie, and he missed a lot of time. So you're going to reward your guys that have been here longer. VZ has been healthy all year. Now, do I think Buchnevich is better than VZ? Yes. But the way things are going right now, you don't break up the chemistry that's going. You're not putting Buch on the third line because you're not breaking up Grabner, Hayes, and Miller. You're not breaking up Stepan, Nash, and VZ because that line's working. You're not breaking up Zuccarello, Zibanejad, and Kreider because the lines are clicking. That's why Buchnevich is playing on the fourth line. And the depth, you guys want this team to have depth, right? That was our problem the last few years. Oh, we don't have enough scoring depth. They have it now. This is what depth looks like. You have a really, really good rookie playing on the fourth line. Now, yeah, I kind of want to see him back together with Kreider and Zibanejad, but maybe that'll happen down the road. Maybe it won't. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. He's playing well. He's still racking up points. That's all that really matters. And they're winning games. Now, this is a very important issue that I made my mind up last night just thinking about it. The Rangers can't trade JT Miller or Kevin Hayes. When I had Kevin Delury on a couple weeks ago, we were talking about this because the Bruins, when they were talking to St. Louis about Shattenkirk, were asking for Pastrnak. The Bruins said that not happening, and Pastrnak is putting in another a really good season for the Bruins. And they asked the Bruins for Pastrnak. Why on earth would they not ask the Rangers for JT Miller or Kevin Hayes? JT Miller has a career-high 44 points with 28 games remaining. Kevin Hayes has 39 points with 28 games remaining. Remember, he missed some time. His career high is 45 in his rookie year. Only going to get better. And you can argue that JT Miller is the MVP of this team or that Kevin Hayes is the MVP of this team. When Hayes was gone, the Rangers were struggling offensively a little bit. You can't afford to trade Miller or Hayes for Kevin Shattenkirk. That's why you go out there and you make the small move for a guy like Cody Franson. Because odds are you'll probably try and sign him in the offseason, Shattenkirk. That's my biggest issue if you trade Miller. If you trade Miller for Shattenkirk, then you end up re-signing Shattenkirk. You lost a lot to get Shattenkirk. A lot. Because JT Miller is a great player in this league, and he's still getting better. He might be the most important piece of this offense. I'm willing to go on record and saying that JT Miller is the most important part of this team offensively. And his defense has played very well, too. Him and Kevin Hayes, everyone was ripping Alain Vigneault the last few years with how he treated JT Miller and how he wanted him to play focus on playing defense. And now he started on the fourth line and didn't get much minutes and was on the bus to Hartford a lot. Well, when you do that, you get a player playing the way JT Miller's playing right now. And that also goes back to the AV extension, with fans ripping for, he doesn't know how to handle young players. This whole team is a product of young players. Hayes, Miller, Kreider, VZ, Zibanejad's still a kid. Shea, McDonough was young when AV started here. Stepan really didn't flourish as well as he's had under AV. He's done that as well. Zuccarello flourished under AV. Broussard found his game under Alain Vigneault. So that's something that what you need to consider too when you're arguing that AV hasn't done anything for the Rangers kids. He's done a lot. So now the Metropolitan Division is sick. It really is. You have the Washington Capitals in first place, followed by Pittsburgh, Columbus, and the Rangers. The Rangers trail Washington 11 points for first place, and they're 2 points behind Columbus for third in the Metro, and 3 behind Pittsburgh for second. Columbus and Pittsburgh have a game in hand on the Rangers. The Rangers are better off staying exactly where they are. Tread water, finish as a wild card team. Season ended today. The Rangers are playing the Montreal Canadiens. If the season ended today, the Rangers would have 71 points, up 1 point higher than the Montreal Canadiens. The Rangers have 2 games in hand on the Canadiens. The Canadiens and Bruins have played the most games in the NHL, with 56. So, the odds of the Rangers having more points than the Canadiens come the end of the season is very possible. They still start the playoffs on the road because of the way this format is, which is very stupid. And the Rangers would be on the road. They'd have to face Carey Price. Then after that, they would either have to, if the season ended today, they'd have to go through Toronto or Ottawa to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm fine going through Toronto, and I'm fine going through Ottawa. I was thinking about this last night after the game. Rangers would probably go 7 games, maybe 6 with their offense against Montreal because of Carey Price. They'd probably go 5 games in a series with Ottawa or Toronto just because of experience. And then they're facing a team from the Metropolitan Division in the Eastern Conference Finals. And the road to the Stanley Cup for this team would be easier if they went through the Atlantic Division. Now, you don't want the easy way out. We said that last year when there was talks about tanking for Florida, like the Islanders did. But I'm fine just treading water right where we are. We don't have to face the Metropolitan Division because we all know if the Rangers face Pittsburgh in the first round, not going to end well. Columbus, they might have a good shot at advancing. Then they'll only face either Washington or the second wild card, which currently right now is Boston, I believe. And then you face the team from the Metro probably again in the Eastern Conference Finals. So I don't really want to make predictions right now because we're not at that stage yet. But if things stay the way they are, it wouldn't surprise me if we see Washington and the Rangers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, we haven't played Washington since the first week of the season. A game and the Rangers won. The Rangers are a completely different team from week 1. And so is Washington. Washington is 8-2-0 in their last 10 games and have won 5 straight. At home, they're 22-3-3. They don't lose at home. I'm sorry, I was looking at the Penguins record. They're 23-5-1. Either way, they don't lose at home. Looking at the records right now, they have the best home record in the NHL. 23-5-1. 47 points. At home. And they are a plus 69 in goal differential. That's impressive too. So we'll see how things go. They beat Detroit 6-3 the last night. So that's just what I'm looking at wise ahead of time in the playoffs. Stay the way you are now. Pick up a piece like Cody Franson at the deadline, not a big piece, and tread water. Finish as a wild card team. Finish as the number 1 wild card, though. Because if you're the number 2 wild card, you have to go through the Capitals. And the Capitals have 82 points, and they lead the entire league. The closest one is Minnesota at 76. Pittsburgh right there, 74. So that's pretty much how I see that. Quick look at the schedule. Next week, starting tomorrow, Saturday, the 11th, against Colorado at 7 o'clock. You might want to watch that game because Henrik Lundqvist is starting that game, and Lundqvist is 1 win away from career win number 400. Back in action after that game Monday at Columbus at 7:30, and then Thursday in Brooklyn at 7 o'clock. And then they don't play until the 19th after that game against Washington at the Garden. So that's a game that you're going to want to watch. And we'll have a glimpse as to what I think will be the Eastern Conference Finals. Watch that game so we can, and then you'll figure out if this team can handle Washington. That's the real test, I think, coming up. See where this team really is. Just a side note, Dan Girardi is also out again Saturday with that ankle injury. Adam Clendenning will play. Don't forget to watch the game tomorrow because you might have a chance to witness history. The greatest goaltender in Ranger franchise getting a chance to get his 400th win at home against a Colorado Avalanche team that they should beat. Hank's been on a roll lately. Let's see if he can continue that. That will do it for this week's edition of the NYR Zone podcast. Thanks as always for listening. Don't forget, really, don't forget to watch the game tomorrow. Enjoy it. Let's hope Lundqvist gets the win and the Rangers sweep the homestand and tread water. All I'm asking for. Thanks for listening. Have a great week. Go Rangers.